Morning, everyone. Let's form a company called 12th November. You do the creation of the company. And also the start of year is 1 March 2021. And the year end is 20th February 2022. In terms of address, you just put any address and then you check the generic, you select the generic company. And then the rest, when we were finished doing the company, and then we continue from there. Thank you very much.
Doc, just let you know that my power cut off at 10 o'clock and I'll rejoin with the generator, so I'll drop for a couple minutes, okay? Thanks.
Okay, it's fine. But there isn't much. What I'll do is, when we are done forming the company, I'll just, remember this is a revision class, right? So I'll try to hit everything in the first, before 10 o'clock.
That'd be great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, I'll take that into the account. Please let me know when you've finished forming the companies, then I'll start highlighting what's key for your revision.
I'm done, Doc.
Okay. Ufle, are you done?
I'm done.
Tobile, are you done?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay, it's fine. What is key in your exam? For each stage, you must take a screenshot. And also this screenshot, you use your computer. Do you know how to take a screenshot using a computer?
Yes.
Yes, I think that is the most critical thing.
You keep
You take,
right?
Yes. What is it called?
Print screen.
Yes, that one. Yes.
You
Because
can
some
also
people
use, Doc, you also use a program called Snip Tool. It's free. It's free on Microsoft. It's actually works nice. Just in case.
Okay. Okay. No, it's fine. So you can use that tool also, right? For example, when you are here, you take a screenshot. Make sure that your pictures are too many. I think that's the most critical thing. For example, when you come here and say, you come and say, I want to add a supply. Let me just go here. Purchase order. You come and click here. You take your screenshot before you input anything. Are we clear? Then you take a screenshot when you're finished, so that the person who is marking will automatically see the whole process you're actually doing. For example, here, edit supplier, you take your screenshot. Account 001, description you write, address you write, physical address you write, contact details. You don't do this, what I'm doing, right? You write the information you are given. And then there, if that information there, then you take your screenshot also at this stage because you have completed that page, right? And then you save. You go for the next one, 002, you write description. That one I was using GGG, HHH, you write the details. You take a screenshot again. Are we okay here? Is that clear with everyone else? Because what is important, when you take your screenshots, let it be clear that if you have taken your screenshots, for the example, I gave you FFF and GGG, right? If someone goes through the process you have done, they have to see that for me to edit supplier, I need to be on this icon. Are we clear? So your mouse should be pointing where you are. Not just to say, I take a screenshot and that I've got that. So you need to point where you are getting that information. I'm getting it there. And then you take your screenshot. And the other critical thing is that your pictures should be in the order they start with. If someone wants to redo the process, for example, we created a company, right? In the process of creating a company, we had stages. So you'll be taking the screenshots for your own stages so that someone is able to see that this is the process which the person did. This is the process, what they did. And for example, we have done the supplier. I can now edit customer. So the person is able to see that this person is on this icon, and this is what's edit customer. There's nothing which is inputted. Now they've inputted the details of the customer. They've put the details, they've put the address, they've put everything. And then you take your screenshot when you have completed the information, right? I think that is what's very important. And the other issue is there someone with a question on what I've covered so far?
My question is, when we are taking the print screens, are we pasting them on the Microsoft Word document, or it would be on the answer sheet?
Remember, the question can say, do a purchase order, right? Or a trial balance. So what happens is that we mark the process you have gone through. It's just like a calculation. When you take screenshots, make a default folder on your laptop or on your computer that whatever you take, it's dumped somewhere. Are you following that?
Yes.
Whatever you take, it's dumped somewhere. And when it's dumped somewhere, when you upload it on the solution, you just simply upload your pictures with the process. Are we following that?
Okay.
Yes. Because sometimes I forgot how to let me just yes. What happens normally, it is very critical when you practice. Make sure that your screenshots are also numbered, or there's an order there with them to say they're all sorted. If someone sees this is stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's an automatic way where you take screenshots. Your computer automatically numbers the pictures you take. Are you following? So regardless, you paste them on the solution, on the Word document, or you just upload them as pictures. It doesn't matter. But remember one thing: you need to look for a format which allows your memory size of pictures to be small. Because sometimes you can create pictures. You can take a picture which says one picture can be 1 gigabyte, but someone can use another software which makes it 10 what? What is smaller before a gigabyte? I hope you understand. So make sure you use the format which doesn't make your pictures too big. So that when you want to upload, the systems will say you want to upload something which is too big. So just look for something which makes your uploading small and compatible with the limits which are there in the exam. But what is critical is the pictures. And they should be in stages. And when you want to say, I want to do purchase order, I made a mistake here. This is a mistake I did. You must not do that. You go back here, supply document, you click, you take this picture. So as someone says, this is where the student was, and they were selecting the what? The purchase order. So if in case I want to, so what will happen is that I would see that the first document, the first picture you took is the purchase order. That's where you were. That is the first picture. Then I click my purchase order. It comes up. That's the second picture. Then I look for the supplier. Then I add my supplier. Right? I complete all the details of the supplier. And then I do whatever I want to do. You'll be taking what? Pictures at every stage. Is that clear? You see here where I am now. It tells me that I did not do the what? The stock description. So when you do the pictures, because what is the challenge which happens sometimes, it's very difficult to track the marking. But the pictures will actually tell you that, no. This is what the student did. This is the stages which they followed. Because there are mistakes. Whenever you write an exam, expect to make a mistake, right? For example, here there's no stock item which I put in the system. The system tells me that I need to put a stock system. Then I'll need to go back on the whole process and make the stock system into the system. Are we okay there? That what is very critical for your exam is the pictures and the stages you need to follow through every stage. And also, is there a question which someone has got at the moment? I'm not just looking at this because I'm talking a lot. Is there someone with a question to say? No question at the moment. So your exam is a practical exam. Is that fine? So what I'll do now, I'll give you code inventory 00. I'll give you what is very critical. You need to do this. Is there any technical issue which you want assistance? This is different from audit, checks, or any other subjects. It's a practical subject. Is there a stage, something which you are not very clear with on the system, what to do and what not to do?
Sorry, I just want to confirm that there's no theory exam on this, just practical all the way.
As far as I know, it's a practical exam. There's no theory. I don't because I've asked people around. It's a practical exam. There's nothing theoretical about it. It's only practical. There's nothing theoretical. But the moment, yes,
I'm checking here. My license is saying when I started to open a company, it says my license is expiring in 9 days. And 9 days it will be before my exam.
When did you buy the book?
As soon as they said we should buy it, and then I installed it for our first lesson.
Is there someone with a challenge of the license? What number of days did you get? I got 49 myself.
Let me close and open
I also got a notification, but I just can't remember the date on it.
Okay. Can you do me a favor? Can we close? How many days are we getting?
When I closed and reopened the company again, the message did not appear, so I'm not sure anymore now.
Okay. So I switched off my camera and muted myself. I wanted to check something with someone else. The exam is totally practical. And if there's theory, just relates to pastel, nothing else. But mostly 90% to 80% is practical, where you need to do something practical.
Sorry, sir, I joined late. I wanted to understand the part where you said that we're taking pictures. Are we taking screenshots on our computers, or do we have to take pictures with our phones?
You take screenshots with your computer or laptop.
Oh, okay.
Yes. When are you writing your exam?
November 26th November, I guess it's a Saturday.
26th of November.
Yes, that's what I said.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Let me just check, which is 21. Yo. Let me just do something here. Let me close this and then we. Did that message come up again of days? I'm still waiting for the number of days, guys, to say how many days. There's 9 days. There's how many days for others. Did we get the number of days? I did not get mine back. Did anyone get number of days?
No.
You are raising, you need to raise a pastor within the next. If it's 49 days, it will be within the exam period, right? That's the message I got. I got 49 days myself. The same message I'm seeing here. So there's no issue because you're writing on the 26th. Can we conclude on that? Hello, guys.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, we can. Yes, so we can conclude there's no one with a problem because you're writing on the 26th. Okay. I think what we have covered, I understand someone at a 10 o'clock appointment. What we have covered basically is what's key in the exam. You need to, and remember what you are wrestling with, it's time. You need to know that the easiest way is to start here where you edit inventory, right? You edit your inventory, they've given you the type of inventory. Description is blue chairs, right? Barcode, you put bin number, you put the unit, maybe it's 1 or it's 100, they'll give you. And then remember to take a screenshot before you move to the next. You take a screenshot, then you save, you go to the next 002, red chair. Barcode, you put 555, bin number, you put 555, and then unit becomes 100, commodity code 3, and then you take a picture and you save. Remember, when you save like this, the information goes away. So you take a picture before you save. When you do the inventory, then you create your supplier accounts. Who supplies us with inventory 001, factory, right? Address, you put the address, FFF, if ever that's the information you put. If there's any processing, you take a screenshot before you save. You go to the next, you put all the information, the balances, you put additional information. If it's there, you put, and then you take your pictures. Take your picture before you save. The moment you save, the information goes. 002, factories, 2, you put the address date, whatever, and then you put the processing. Before you move to the next, take your screenshot, processing, inclusive or exclusive, you put the information, the contra account, you put if it's a contra, stock adjustment, then you enter, you save your balances, you do the same, your additional options, you do the same, and then you save. Are we clear? You don't save before you have taken a picture, because the moment you save, the information goes. And what I would do is that this is a practical exam. You need to work through the book. That is the easiest way. Go through the book and work it through. When you have done it, then it becomes much easier. It becomes very easier if you work through the book. In the book, they've given you examples, and you take pictures at each stage. The data, which I've seen people, we want to take pictures after saving. You take a picture before you save. You take a picture before you save so that everyone is able to follow your steps. And then the other critical, you need to do practice. You need to practice. You need to practice on your own to say, let's just do one question. I'll give you a question here. Let me just type it in the chat box, and you try to attempt it. Right. Create a purchase order. Okay, purchase inventory from supplier, purchase shares, red shares from supplier X, purchase even red shares, let's say 20 shares, right, from supplier X. This is a very short question, but what do you need to do? You need to create supplier X information. You need to purchase the shares. That is what's very critical, because sometimes what is said here in the question is purchase even red shares 20 from supplier X. To someone, you need to remember the process, what you need to do. You need to start doing the inventory, register the inventory, the red shares, do the 20, create the supplier, then you do the purchase. Are we following that? Because someone, if he doesn't understand the process, it becomes a challenge. So what is critical is for one to understand the process. That becomes the most critical element in the exam, to say, is this student able to understand the process which is being followed? Does they understand to say, before you do this, you must do this. Before you get to this point, you must perform this task. That becomes the most important element which we need to remember, which we need to do. And also the other issue, is there someone with a specific question on the exam? Because this is a revision class, I might end up re-lecturing what we have done before, which is very unfortunate. But ask me direct questions, then I can be able to assist in your preparation for the exam.
So basically, so what happened is I've been through what you taught us, and where we actually taking inventory, supplier, and customer purchases the goods, and obviously that's where it stopped. Also went further in actually whether we're going to be tested on the cash book to payment against the supplier and receipts against the supplier in the cash book, the CRJ, CPJ.
Sorry, I think my network is bad. Can you start again? Sorry about that.
Okay. No, basically, I went through what we did in the last 3 classes, and we concentrated mostly on inventory, supplier, customers, correct? Right?
Yes.
My next question is, are we going to be tested further on applying payments against the supplier and receipts against the customers in the cash book point of view? Okay.
Yes, we are going. Didn't we do that process? We did that process again to say the payments and etc. When we get the invoice, we pay. But mostly is what we have covered up to. Let me just do a screenshot and I'll tell you what is there. Let me share again my screen and then we. Okay, let me share my screen again. Okay, I'm sharing. Are you able to see my screen? Is it sharing now?
We're only seeing you, Doctor.
Okay, let me. Okay, now is it sharing?
It is sharing.
Yeah, we will do the inventory, the edge supplier, edge there. We'll go there. We'll go also to purchase order, supplier invoice. We'll go there, and also sales quotation we have got. Remember, in the other session we got to the point of doing a mini trial balance, right?
Yes.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, from this transaction.
So we did the whole process. So that is the whole process you'll be examined, where we got into. And it's more of a practical. What I'll do is that I'll send some more. I don't want to. Did we share the slides? I'll check also if I've got a question. It's basically what's in the textbook is what's coming. to say you do the purchase order, you do the supply, you do the inventory, you do the payments. That's it. That's it. There's no way. And then when you have done this, you have done that, you have done this, you have done also the sales order, the tax invoice, that it means that you are able to do the trial balance. Are we clear? Where you go to file or where you go to edit, and also the edit supplier, all this, you are able to do that. So what you have done practically is what's going to come. Go over what we have covered and redo it yourself.
Okay. So we don't have to worry about the cash book.
We will do, what do you mean by the cash book? Let me just understand that.
Where we actually do transactions from the bank statement to the cash book. We're not going to be tested on that, huh? Because I did that. I did that via the textbook, and obviously I even worked on taking in opening balances and to contra account and creating a trial balance, and as per the textbook.
You see, sometimes you normally, which chapter is that one? Because you remember we marked the chapters which we must do. We said chapter 1, chapter 2, module 2, module 3, module 4, module 5, module 6, module 7, right? Module 9 and module 10, right? That is what I've said. And I think I left out module 8. I'm looking at the textbook currently. I left out module 8, 11, 12, and 13. I think I left those ones out.
Okay.
So I think those becomes your critical information to say, are you doing this and that? I haven't seen the exam. I haven't done the exam. But when you take on balances, it means that, remember, we are doing, how long is the exam? It's 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So surely we can't expect you to create a Kanban. You remember when you take on the Kanban, I'll just check and I'll correct myself. I'll ask to see the exam. But when I switched off my camera, I asked the colleague to say, tell me the exam. And the guy said, Shuro, what you have covered is what's going to come most likely. Right. So we can't expect you to take on balances. Why are we doing that? If we go back to our learning outcomes also, and the take-on balances there, they are not there.
Okay, thank you. That answers the question. Thank you.
Okay. But you use a practical, because you can go over and try to practice, but I doubt it will come because it will be too much to ask. Okay. Okay, that's fine.
But Doctor, I'm checking on the learning outcomes here. We have take-on balances and journals. We have
so which is
and petty cash and journal processing.
Which is chapter 11. Yeah. But remember your cash book processing and petty and journal processing. Where is it coming from? It's mostly coming from your. Are you seeing where my screen is? It's coming from the tax invoice, from the recurring. That is where it's coming from, the cash book and the petty cash. Because what are you doing? What do you mean by petty cash? Petty cash, we can say you are buying fuel. We did this. If you remember, you are buying fuel, you are buying stationery. Already, you have that concept of understanding to say, I can't create. Okay, let me go back to petty cash. Can you have a transaction which has not been created in Pastel? Of a description. Can you pay electricity when you have not created the electrical account?
No.
So which means that the concept, which is very critical, it starts here on inventory, create, edit supplier, and edit customer. Are you following what I'm saying? So the moment that you know that I can't buy a paper without creating this, you won't go anywhere. You won't even go to the point of saying to do the transaction. So what is very important, that is why I said it is very important to know how the process works. Because if you look at even in the textbook, right, they are talking about the number of pages, even the take-on balances, they are about, in journals, they are about 194 to 249. But it's a concept which you have to look at. And the cash book and petty cash and general process, it's all coming from your edit inventory. Are we following that? Or I'm losing you guys? Hello? Am I on mute?
Yeah, no, it's fine. When you say it comes from inventory, that means even if you buy, like, for instance, electricity, we have to create an inventory account for that.
Hello?
I don't know if you heard me, Doc.
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes.
Like, for instance, if you buy electricity, do you have to create an inventory account for that? But I know you have to do a purchase order and run it through the whole process of a supplier on inventory. But do you create a stock item
No.
that doesn't?
No, you don't. You go back the whole process. Like I'm just saying, you can't say I want to pay electricity, right? Without doing the whole process.
I understand that.
Without doing. Okay.
Yeah, no,
so at the end of the day, it's the whole concept to say, where do I start before I get to here? I hope I've made myself clear.
Thank you.
Yes. So when someone talks about, even if you say, I'm asked to buy stationery, when you understand the concept to say, I need to start, I can't pay for stationery if I've not created that account. I can't pay Shuro if I've not created Shuro as a what? As a supplier. And I need to define what Shuro supplies. Are we clear there? So at the end of the day, it becomes much easier for you. Sometimes with pastel, you need to remember that you can't pay anything and you can't pay anyone if you have not created that person. So what normally happens is that you'll be told that we used petty cash to pay for the pens, right? Which we bought from Pick and Pay. Are we following this? At the back of your mind, you should know that I need to create Pick and Pay as the supplier. And I need to do the purchase order. When I've done the purchase order, then I'll do the purchase. When I've done the purchase, then I'll do the payment. So it's all in stages. Am I getting everyone there? It's sometimes, because if you go through the process and say, this is coming, this is not coming, what is coming basically is that understanding of the whole process. When we say take on balances, what are you taking on? Because when we created our company, we have defined what is our start date, right? There was an option to say, we are starting with inventory, we are starting with these quantities, but those quantities, you are saying they are part of the take-on balances. You need to go back to the basics again. If I say it's take-on balances of 20 red chairs, right? I'll keep on going there. You need to understand that I need to restart from that process so that I've got the take-on balances. Are we clear there, guys? I hope I've made myself clear. So let's say what I've covered basically, it's what's very critical. The take-on balances, yes, they are coming, but that is not the crux. The most critical thing is to understand, to say, where are these transactions coming from? Because at the end of the day, you'll find that in the pictures. So we said learning module, let me repeat myself. Learning module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. You must know those 100%. You can't run away from those. Are we clear? 8 and 11, you must know. But when you know 1 to 7, and if you know what I've told you 100%, then 8 and 11 becomes a walk in the path, because you never understand the concept behind pastel. Are we okay there? So where you need to put emphasis is learning module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10. That is where you must put your, if you are studying 10 hours, there you put 8 hours or 9 hours and only 1 hour to take on balances and cash book processing, because that becomes very easy for you because you have understood the whole concept. So if you are to study, because this is a revision class, yes, take on balances are important, but not very critical, because if you do that once or twice or thrice, I'm sure when it comes to the exam, it will be just walking the path. So just try it once or twice. When you are okay, it's walking the path in the exam. But what is very difficult in the exam is what I've told you, because the question sometimes will be silent on what is very critical. When you forget to say, the question says, purchase 10 cups from supplier C. You need to know that I do this. That is what's important in the exam. Okay. Is there someone who is lost who needs me to clarify on that? Okay, no, that's fine. So attempt take on balance is module 8 and module 11. Do it twice, thrice. If you are comfortable, that's fine. But what I've emphasized is what's very, very important, because it's going to come and it's a practical exam. You miss that, you miss everything. And the take on balance is just do them. When you do take on balances once or twice, when you get the concept right, you get it right. Right. I think someone at 10 o'clock shut down. Is there any question before you go at 10 o'clock?
I'm fine. I'm just waiting for let's see to cut down. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone with a particular question? This is a revision, guys. I'm not supposed to be talking a lot. Pushe, any question?
Not at the moment. I'm just saying that I need to go over the textbook for my revision.
Okay, it's fine. Tomile, any question?
No questions from me. Thank you.
Okay. Agnes, any question?
No, nothing at the moment for me either.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, let me just there isn't much which I can talk about your exam, because it's a practical exam. It's a very practical exam. And also, it's one exam or one course where you need to follow the textbook, right? Once you follow the textbook once. The second time, you must not follow the textbook, but you must follow the process of the practical side which you are doing when you do the computer, when you are using the computer. What am I saying? Because, for example, you start with the, let's go to chapter page 196. 196. Right, let's go to 196. It's a process of a journal, right? It gives you the whole process of what you are supposed to do, right? The exam is not that, it's not complicated. Let me be clear. It's not that, let me share my screen again. Let me share my screen and then, right. You see what I've done? I've basically opened, go to what the textbook has told me. I'm on page 196. I go click there, it says click general journal, and those are the things which come up for me. And then it says process the journal, double click on 09. I don't have 09 there. I can double click on anything here. It opens, and it tells me what I'm supposed to do. Are we there, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
so, yes, so you just need to go through the whole process and you say, where do I click settings buttons? Where do I click? I click there. I click here. I look for the account. I go click there. You follow what I'm saying? So when you do this process once, you don't need to follow the textbook the second time you do it. Are we clear? You try to do it on your own and you hit the walls. When you hit the walls, it's just like a baby crawling. You hold the baby to walk, you hold the baby, helping the baby to walk first time, right? But when the second time, you're not going to hold the baby. The baby is going to struggle, look for things to hold on. It's the same thing when you do this practice. You go through what they've told you. The second time, don't go over the book. Try the process yourself. Are we clear? Try the process yourself to say, can I do this on my own? Can I do the process journal? You realize that when you go over the book, when you have done it, for example, here, I would click here, and it tells me also, remember, you have got a screen which assists you. It's a talking screen. It's a guide for you. If I come here and say, payment, thank you, I select, it goes there. I say, come here, debit, it tells me that I need to get a contract. It's not something where you say, I'm going to get it right on my own. Remember, you have got a talking screen. So your second trial is the talking screen. The talking screen should give you the guide to say, hey, what you have done is correct, what you have done is not correct. And then I debit here, 33 again. And then I close, and then I save. So at the end of the day, you must remember one thing, is you have got a talking screen, and your talking screen is the pastel. Pastel is user-friendly, and it talks when you are doing something. That is basically the crux of it. So you go through the book, you try out what they've done in the book. The second time, start changing, start practicing to say, they've given me this screen, I've done the whole process. You don't need to read. If I'm on page 196, you go 196, you go to number 3, number 4 on 197. Are you looking at your textbook, right? And you do 5. You don't need to read anything on 198. Are you with me there, guys? Are you looking at your book?
Yes.
You don't need to read what's there on 198. What's on 198, you are going to experiment here on the screen as you capture. And when you realize that these things, hey, there's something I've done wrong, that's when you just check on 198. Don't read, because the danger of this course, you don't need to know the theory. Let me be clear there. Someone asked me to say, is it a theory? You don't need to know the theory. You need to know the practical side. And the only practical side you know is through practice. And how do you do the practice? Trial and error. Myself, I started using this pastel version, I think this year. I sat down for a day, but the whole day I did trials and errors. That's the only way you can do it. You go over the book, yes, you do what the book has told you, but you say, but if I'm to buy, for example, we have got, so what does the company do? What does the company do? A company can buy calendars. What do I do with that calendar? Right? I buy. I understand you are doing financial accounting 2, right? Or 1? Are you doing 1 or 2?
2.
We did 2.
We did 2. Yeah.
You did 2. I'll say take financial 2, your assignment. Right. Take your assignment, accounting 2 assignment. And if I'm not mistaken, it was a question. Don't take the cash flow question. Take the general question and process them on pastel. Take on that question, process it, because normally they'll say you purchase this for this amount, you had this trial balance, you do that, and you attempt it on Pastel. You realize that you can do it. So the issue is, try a practical example which you have seen and say, I've done financial one had purchased these journals, and I paid this, I bought this. Let me try it in Pastel and see what happens. I've got the details of the company. You create the details of the company in Pastel. You create all the transaction which happened in a question in Pastel. Because you can't stick on this question, but you need to challenge yourself to say, what else can I do? There's nothing more we can give you to say, do this, because we've done a lot. So what I would say, challenge yourself, look for practical examples, and also I'm happy some of you travel to work. Just do a company for your weekly expenses. What did I buy? I bought airtime. Let me put it there. Do your financial statements in Pastel. Then life becomes easy. So I think I'll send you that as a task for your practice. Do just the monthly you buy electricity, you pay water, you pay transportation, you bought food, groceries. Take that receipt which you got from Checkers, put it in Pastel, and you realize that it's easy. Don't stick to the book. Are you with me here? Don't stick to the book. Do the practical side of your life. When you finish today, you're going to buy airtime, I know. You have bought airtime, you have bought data. Do that as a practical example. Don't just stick to the book. That is the beauty of Pastel. That is the beauty of this course, because you're going to get a question. Ask yourself to say, I bought groceries last week. Take those receipts, put them in Pastel. Create a command called Agnes. Create a command called or Tobile or Melanin. And do. Yes. Okay, it's fine. So do that and create that company. You end up realizing that Pastel becomes very easier. So for your present revision, I advise you to say, take the expenses you have incurred, push them in Pastel, and at the end of the day, your accountants, you can actually see that, where did I get money to pay for the groceries from the bank? So I need a bank account, right? Or I need a loan. You do those things, and you realize at the end of the day, you come up to a mini trial balance. That is what you must do for the practice. It's a practical exam, and you need to practice. You need to understand the process of how Pastel works. Not the book, but how Pastel works, because you are going to get a practical exam to say, maybe the question is, you have been presented this information by of XYZ. These are the what purchases they did. These are the on cash and credit. Please process them in Pastel. So it ends up being what you have done, what you see on a day-to-day basis is what's coming in the exam. I think that is what I can advise you, because I can try to talk, but challenge yourself. I've given you 3 tasks, 3 things to do before your exam. Take your first year paper, accounting, process it in Pastel. Are we clear there? Check your second year paper, process it in Pastel, right? Then the third thing, do your monthly accounts in Pastel. Those are the 3 things which are very key for you. Process your first year paper accounting in Pastel, process the second year paper in Pastel, and then process your monthly accounts in Pastel. You are home and dry, you pass the exam. Why? In your exams, we talk of inventory, We bought inventory, we sold inventory. Am I talking the same exams which you wrote?
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you.
You are,
Okay, it's fine.
but now I'm asking myself, how do I retrieve the paper, the exam paper?
It necessarily doesn't need to be the exam paper. You can just look for an example in accounting.
Oh.
The examples in your study guide, right? And then you just try it out. Is that okay, Bushe?
No, that's fine, sir.
Yes. So that you just process other information because it's a practical thing. And the moment you process something which is not coming from the textbook becomes a referral point to say, okay, I failed to do this. Why did I fail to do this? You just go to the textbook and say, I failed to do this. Why? And also, what do I do if I've got, okay, I'm talking of opening balances here. What do I do on the opening balances? You do the take on. How do I do the take on? It becomes much easier, much less difficult. It becomes very easy for you. I don't want to take much of your time. Is there any question which is there? You can ask me to say, sure, what is coming in the exam, and I'll tell you. You don't ask the questions, guys. If you ask me any direct question, I answer. What I don't.
Dr. Shuro, I'm asking nicely what is coming out in the exam.
Let me tell you the truth. And I'll tell you what's coming in the exam. Right. What's coming in the exam is, let's just, you tell, are you an honest person yourself?
Yes.
Are you very honest?
Of integrity as well.
Okay, and integrity. And this is just, I don't want to know. Tell me what you bought last week. Just 10 things you bought.
I bought groceries, I bought airtime, I bought fuel.
Wait. Groceries, let me type here and then groceries, fuel. Yes.
Airtime.
Yes.
Electricity.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all.
What was in groceries? Let's look at one. Where do you buy your groceries?
Most probably Spar.
From?
Spar.
Spar. Okay, I'll do this. What I'll ask you to do is, you wanted me to be honest. I'll tell you what's coming in the exam. What you did is what's coming in the exam. Go and do statements for that. Check the grocery Spar receipt. It's a long receipt, that long one, right? Not the one for bread and not the one for bread and milk, the long one. Put it in pastel and do a mini trial balance for yourself. I guarantee you will pass. And the fuel and the airtime and the electricity, you would pass. Because you have gone through the practical side. Even if you go back to what we have looked at in the book, what you have covered so far are those chapters which I have said. Chapter 1, chapter 2, when you do this and you get it right, is there anything different from what you did in your private life to what are the examples in the book?
Not really.
Yes. So you get the concepts right, do it, because this is a practical exam, it's a concept issue. And also say, if I bought furniture, what did I do? Right? And then you are home and dry. And as you do this, you are done, you ask yourself, so what happens if I was selling some of my groceries? If I bought sweets and I sell my sweets, let me sell some of the sweets, right? Okay, I bought fuel, but I gave someone a lift and they gave me 40 rand. Account for that 40 rand. You realize that pastel is easier. It's not complicated. Are we okay there? Are you answered what's coming in the exam?
Yeah.
Yes. As you do that, that's and that is your textbook. Basically, that's your textbook. Module 1 installation you have done. Module 2 pastoral language and navigation, that's what you'll be doing. Creating and setting up a Kanban, you set up your Kanban code Buffle. Create and maintain a general ledger account. This is what you are going to do. You are going to create for groceries, fuel, airtime, electricity. Create supplier accounts. You are going to create checkers, Woolworths, whatever you buy. Create and maintain customer accounts. That is the person you gave a lift to. You create that account. Create and make event accounts. I had a baby crying there, so it means that you have got inventory in the house. If ever you want cooking oil, you don't pour the whole 2 liters. You pour maybe 10 mils or 5 mils, you measure, right?
Yeah.
That is event, right? Supplier processing, you're going to supply your process, and customer processing, which is 9 and 10. That's it. And at the end of the day, you say, okay, let me just do any other petty cash. Maybe the baby wants, I'm just assuming maybe the child wants money for pocket money for school. You give 30 rands, 10 rand. That is your petty cash. You do those. And at the end of the day, you process, you do your accounts. That is that. And that is basically what your textbook is about. In your home entry. There's no way, there's nothing more I can do. And you just practice take-on balances once or twice. You have got an account at Woolworths, you have got an account at Edgar's, take-on balances are there. You open your account at Edgar's, you paid, maybe you are you bought a car on credit. At the end of the month, you pay your installments. Maybe you have got a bond, you pay your installment. Those are your take-on balances. That's your life. We are done. Are we okay there? Right. Tomile, any particular questions from you?
No questions from me.
Agnes, any particular question?
I just wanted to understand the part where will be, the picture part. So even though it's a practical exam, the questions are going to appear normally like we do any exam, and then we can just test as we go in the question itself, the part where we're supposed to do the answers.
Right. For example, I'll try to answer this question. For example, the example I did with Bushe, right? We said we spoke about fuel or the groceries, right? I think you joined us a little bit late.
Yeah.
Let me just put your question on the side. Melanie, do you have any question?
I'm okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Let me just try to do the final refresher here. Agnes, what our exam is, it's a practical exam, but it's just like also with calculations. Normally calculations, we don't get them right. We don't get the correct answer. You have been given an exam to say do these multiplications. Normally we don't get them right. We mark the process of the calculation. Did the student understand the principle correct or wrong? Are we clear there, Agnes? So the same thing also with this pastel. We don't mark the answer. We mark the process. I think I'm making myself clear. Why do I mean the process? We want to see here, as the student, when we start here, you need to create edit event, right? We are going to say 008. This is the code of the event. This is the description of the event. This is the barcode. This is the bin number. That's the unit. That's that. You have created your inventory code here on your description, and you say cell phone. Let me say cell phone, Nokia. Are you seeing that the student got these things right? Are we clear, Agnes?
Sorry, sir,
Yes,
That is
we
the-
are.
we see you,
Yes,
not the screen.
but there's a. Oh, I'm not sharing the screen.
No.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, let me share the screen. Right. Let me start again. Sorry about that. Let me reject. If you come here, the first starting point for event is to create the inventory type, right? We come here and are going to add the barcode is 20222 or that, and the description is cell phone Nokia. That is what the question says. That is what we bought, right? And then the barcode is 111, and the bin number is 111. That is what we are getting from there. What you do here is you take a picture before you go to the next step. I'll work through the Nokia example. You take a picture of there, and then we go put the prices. We are going to say our price for the Nokia is 350, right? You put your price, it puts the VAT there, and it applies from 9 November 2021 up to today. Are we okay there? Up to, let's say, up to 24 November 2022. Are you see where I am? You take a picture of this stage, right? We are going to create a reorder level because remember our question will tell us that there's a reorder level. We go and create our reorder level and the minimum number is 25. What is on hand? Maybe what is on hand? The maximum, what we need to have in stock. I hope you remember this. What is our maximum? The amount of stock which you must have, maybe it's 97, right? And then that becomes your reorder level. These are the user fields, the notes, etc. So if ever you have done this, you take a picture of this. Are we clear? You know what I mean by taking a picture, Agnes? A screenshot.
Yes, I do. Yes.
A picture, right? And then you complete everything. If there's a picture which you are given in the exam, you put it there, you put the serial number, you put any notes before you save. And then we know that we have got a cell phone Nokia. The code is 22222 and the price is there. And when you save, you realize what happens when you save. It goes, right? Are we okay? But the student has done a mistake. Instead of creating cell phone Samsung, they created a Nokia at the back of their mind. Are we clear? Because sometimes we do mistakes. Or maybe the name is not even Nokia. It's Nokia. Nokia, like this which I've written here, right? But the student wrote Nokia, the one they know. Are we clear? Can you see those? There's a difference there. When you take pictures, I'm able to track to say this is what the student did, and this is where the mistake came. Because when you do a mistake, you are going to do the mistake continuously the whole exam. So I'll be able to check to say, I can't penalize the student once or twice. When you don't take pictures and you present now your trial balance with the Nokia instead of Nokia, you are wrong. What does the person just looks? It says in stock there's Nokia 200, but it should be Nokia 200. How do I know where you've done a mistake? I don't even know. Did you copy or you did not copy? I don't know. So you'll be penalized. Instead of getting 8 out of 10, you're going to get a 0 because no one knows the basis you got to have a Nokia in the exam instead of a Nokia. Are we clear there? Are you okay, Agnes?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
So, okay, so this is a practical exam. You are given a task to do, but at the end of the day, the task, you might get it wrong. You might even struggle to have a balancing trial balance, but that doesn't matter. I think you were told when you started accounting. Accounting is not about accuracy. Accountants are not accurate people. That is a serious misconception to say accountants are perfect. We are not perfect. We are the worst people. We are not perfect people. We are not very accurate. But what is the accountants about? It's about principles. Did you follow the principle? And when you follow the principle, that becomes key. For example, someone gets a balance in trial balance, can get 100%, right? Someone gets a trial balance which doesn't balance, still gets 100% or 99% because they follow the same principle. So what is important, because it's a practical exam, screenshots is the principle which you have done. Are we okay, everyone there? The screenshot becomes the principle. The student follow this principle. So if the student follow the principle, they miss one concept, it's not a big deal. But the challenge comes now when someone just marks and looks at the number. You don't look at the answer, you look at the principle. It's the same thing with your assignment. Someone just looks at the number, you don't look at the number. We mark the principle. Has this student done the right principle? Yes or no? So the screenshots will be uploaded, and then we look what we have done. Is it right? Is it wrong? If it means that we have to redo the whole process, what you did, we redo it and say, is it the student or is the pastel issue? Because remember, pastel is just a tool. We can't penalize you because of the tool. That is why when guys started saying that it's going to expire, it became an issue for me to say, when is it actually expiring? Because the practical exam, you can't go back and say, I'm going to write this exam. It's a practical exam. You redo it, you are sorted. Is there another particular question which you have got, which you want me to deal with? Right. Are we ready for the exam? My advice is that today and tomorrow, dedicate your days to pastel. That's my advice. This is a revision. Dedicate today and tomorrow to pastel. Get it right. If you are stuck, email me. Don't, you are writing on the 29th, right? Don't wait for 25. Don't even study this course after 25.
We're actually writing on the 3rd of December. It's not in November.
Oh, it's on the 3rd of December. So your last day to study this course is 25 November. And not even 25, 21 November. That is your last day. If you see yourself studying this course beyond 21 November, there's a big problem. Because it's a practical course. It's just like riding a bicycle, like driving a car. If you know how to drive, you drive. If you know how to ride a bicycle, you ride a bike. If you know how to cook, you cook. It doesn't matter if you know how to use pastel, you know how to use pastel. Are we clear there? It's not a course which you say, it's different from financial accounting, which you say, hey, I might understand the concept before the exam. It's a practical course. Beyond 21 November, it's now no, you need a day or two. One day dedicated today and tomorrow, you'll be home and try. Do what I've asked you to do. You realize that there's nothing more to do. So beyond 21 November, you find yourself, after 21 November, you should be asking yourself, so how do I do month-end processing? How do I do year-end? You now need to love the package. It's a package, it's a bicycle, it's a car. Pastel is just like a car, it's just like a bicycle. It's a skill. There's nothing about it. Practice it. You practice, you get it right. You need 1 full day or 2 full days, go over statement at the month end. You'll be home and dry in those 2 days. And after a week or after 5 days, you just do something, look for it. That's when guys that I can actually look for an example, maybe account. Let me see if I can process. You have done management accounting. I've looked at your papers. where there's manufacturing, where there's purchase of items, you can bring financial management into Pastel because it's an accounting system, right? And also one thing I just want to highlight is that you can actually say any school, anyway, you can do the processing. So is there any question? If no question, we can call it a day. Because there isn't much, this is a practical, because this is a revision, I have to guide you on what to do in order to pass. I can take most of your time here, but the best I've given you is what Buhle asked, which is coming in the exam. Say, do your groceries, do your fuel, do your electricity, as your monthly accounts, your installments. When you do this, you'll be warm and dry. There's nothing else which you can do. If the exam comes, that's when someone says, I don't know. Dr. Shuro, I did what you did, and I did the book practical. And I can't get it right, but I doubt so. And your assignments, I saw. Balance. The mark is not on the trial balance. The mark is on the process of making that trial balance. That way, the process of making that trial balance. If the trial balance doesn't balance, does it mean that this we look at that, oh, it's fewer expense, oh, the student did not depreciate buildings. That is why the trial balance doesn't balance, right? We won't penalize nothing else. I hope I've made myself clear on that. I see Buhle is typing, I'll wait for her, and then we go around and then we call it a day. Am I breaking to everyone?
Yeah, we can now.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. Let me just recap what I said. I was saying that, did you hear when last you must study this course? The last day of studying this course. We said 21 November. Did you miss me from there?
We heard
Yes.
that, thanks.
Yeah, it started from there.
Okay, it's fine. Okay. So I was just saying this is a practical course. The principle which is marked in the exam, they might say prepare the trial balance, the final trial balance. What is marked is not the final trial balance. It's the concept. Did this student understand the process of doing this trial balance? We won't penalize you to say you do not depreciate the building. So we penalize you everywhere. We penalize you where you need to be penalized. But what is key, send more pictures, send the whole process. And I think that is what you can do. And that becomes what is very, very important in the exam. It's a practical exam. If you know how to write, you heard me when I said, if you can drive, right? If you can do pastel, you can do pastel. It's a practical exam. And you can say, I did everything what's supposed to be done in pastel. So where did I get it from? The pictures will become your defense to say, okay, this is what I did. This is the whole process I did. And this is what is supposed to be done. I think there's much I can talk. I'll end up I'll be ending up taking your study time. If there's no question, can we call it a day? If there's no anyone with a question, Buhle doesn't have a question. Tobile, do you have a question?
No questions from me.
Agnes, no question. Any questions from you?
No question for me, thank you.
Can we call it a day?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
Melanie. Any question? Yeah, okay.
Thank you,
So
sir.
I
Appreciate
think, please, can we do that practical example which we said we are going to do? let's do it in the next 1 hour 30. If you are stuck, you send me an email to say I'm getting it wrong. Where am I getting it wrong? And then we look it from there. Let's do that practical example on your own, and then it's easier for me to do it here. And you say, Shuro, we saw what you did, we can do it. But the challenge is do it yourself in the next 1 hour 30 before 12, because the session needs to end at 12 o'clock. I'll be seated waiting for any email to say I can't do this, and then I can take you through and I rejoin the meeting. So I think we can call it a day. Wish you the best in your exams. And remember, this is a practical course which you need to practice before. Have a great weekend. Okay, bye-bye. Samora?
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Okay, cheers then.